Hello everybody, and welcome to another video where today I'm going to be reacting to the Division Series of the MLB Postseason, all four series, all four teams that won, all four teams that lost, all of it. I'm going to be reacting to it, giving a breakdown and what I think about the future NLCS and ALCS that are going to be coming up, and the future for the teams that have unfortunately been eliminated. The first series I want to talk about is the Chicago White Sox versus Houston Astros. This series was a little more lopsided in each game rather than the other three series that happened. This one was just each team won in a blowout no matter what. If so, the Astros won 3-1 in the series, winning in Game 4 in Chicago. The one game that the White Sox won was a blowout for them. The other 3 games for the Astros were also blowouts. So the Astros destroy the White Sox in Game 1 and Game 2 with 6-1 and 9-4 wins respectively. These 2 games were big for the Astros. They already put them 1 game away from moving on quickly. It was not a fun 2 games for the White Sox. Ultimately, this was their demise, as going down 2 games is extremely hard to come back from, especially in a series where you only need 3 to win. So for them to win 3 straight, that's extremely hard, and unfortunately for them, that did not happen. They avoided elimination in Game 3 with a 12-6 win against the Astros at home. Huge win for them to keep them alive. It had a little bit of a controversial call with Grandal running outside the base running path to first base, and then the throw from Gurriel hit him in the arm, and that led in a run. Technically, that shouldn't be allowed, but in the rules, it's his own path that you have to create. So I'm not sure how that works, but it is what it is. They did end up winning that game 12-6, as I said. And then finally, the Astros closed the series with a 10-1 win in Chicago to close the series, as I said, on the road. Ultimately, that was also a really lopsided win for them. All they needed was 3 wins, and that was their 3rd win. They got it, and they move on to the ALCS for another time. I think it's the 5th time in 7 years. It was something like that, something crazy. But they do move on, and they make it to the LCS once again. In this series, there were 7 home runs, 4 by the Astros and 3 by the White Sox. Jordan Alvarez for the Astros had a home run. Kyle Tucker had 2 home runs for them in this series. Altuve had a home run. For the White Sox, they had 3 home runs, as I said. Grandal had a home run. Garcia had a home run, and Sheets had a home run. Ultimately, the Astros move on. The White Sox, it's unfortunate. They played in a weak division. That's why they made it this far. And for them, it sucks, but they do get eliminated. Second series I want to talk about is the Atlanta Braves versus Milwaukee Brewers. It was a pretty close series, with the Brewers setting the tone with a 3-2 win in Game 1 at home. Unfortunately for them, that did not work, as the tone was quickly moved to the other side and momentum went to the Braves, with the Braves winning back-to-back 3-0 games in Games 2 and 3, 2 straight shutouts for them, which is huge. And then in Game 4 at home, they're able to win with a series-winning home run from Freddie Freeman in the bottom of the 8th. Game 4, and that ended up winning the series for them. Ultimately, this series for the Brewers was a bad one. They scored not a lot of home runs or runs in the entire series, with them scoring a combined 3 runs in 3 games with the 2 shutouts. So unfortunately for them, they only had 2 home runs by Rowdy Tellez, the former Blue Jay, and in the series there was a total of 5 home runs, 3 by the Braves and 2 by the Brewers. As I said, the 2 by the Brewers are from Rowdy Tellez. Jock Peterson for the Atlanta Braves had 2 home runs. Austin Riley had a home run, and as I said before, Freddie Freeman had that go-ahead home run to win the series for them in Game 4. This series was a little closer than that other one, but it seemed that the Braves had the momentum the entire time. Yes, they did lose a close game in Game 1, but Games 2 and Game 3 were disgusting shutouts, 2 straight shutouts. That's insane. And then they got a go-ahead home run in the bottom of the 8th in that Game 4. That was it. It was too easy for them, and they win the series and move on to the NLCS. Third series I want to talk about is between the Boston Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. This series was a fun one. The series started out with a 5-0 shutout from the Tampa Bay Rays against the Red Sox in their first game of the postseason. A huge win for them. A shutout at home is a huge win for your momentum, and it helped them. They ended up winning that game, but unfortunately for them, they couldn't win anymore as they lost in Game 4 to the Red Sox. But it was a huge game at the time, and it probably still is for them. But in Game 2, the Red Sox fight back with a huge 14-6 win, an 8-run difference in that game. Huge for the Red Sox as they are able to tie the series back up at 1-1, and it goes to Boston, where the Red Sox get back-to-back walk-offs to win the series. In Game 3, they get a walk-off home run, and in Game 4, they get a walk-off sacrifice fly to move on to the ALCS. This was a huge series for the Red Sox. They're able to come back down 1-0, win 3 straight against their division rival and one of the best teams in the league, the best team in the American League. They were able to do that, and they were able to win and walk it off and celebrate, and they play the Houston Astros in the ALCS. In this series, there was too many to count amount of home runs. It was so many. I'm going to go on a list. I'm going to start with the Red Sox. Bogarts had a home run. Verdugo had a home run. Kike Hernandez had 2 home runs. JD Martinez had a home run. Rafael Devers had 2 home runs. Schwarber had a home run. Vasquez had a walk-off home run in Game 3. And Hernandez also had a walk-off sacrifice fly in Game 4 to win it. For the Rays, they had Nelson Cruz had a home run, Randy Rosarena had a home run, Jordan Luplow had a home run, G-Man Choi had a home run, Austin Meadows had a home run, and Wander Franco had 2 home runs in his first postseason appearance, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it's his second, I'm not sure. But huge for them, but unfortunately they couldn't get the win as the Red Sox were just better, and they're able to win the series 3-1 and move on to play the Astros. The final series I want to talk about is between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. The Giants shut out the Dodgers in Game 1 and in Game 3 with 4-0 and 1-0 wins respectively. In Game 2, the Dodgers destroy the Giants with a 9-2 win to make it 1-1 after 2 games. Then, of course, as I said, Game 3, the Giants shut out with a 1-0 win. Then in Game 4, the Dodgers avoid elimination with a 7-2 win at home. As I said, avoid elimination. They're able to keep the series alive, tied at 2-2, heading to San Francisco for a Game 5, where this game was the most controversial, the most enjoyable, but unfortunately it ended with a terrible call. The Giants are eliminated, and the Dodgers move on with a terrible check swing strike call in the bottom of the 9th to lose the series for the Giants, and the Dodgers move on. Max Scherzer gets his first career save in a postseason game in the bottom of the 9th. That's a little crazy, but he did end up winning the series for them. And in this series, there was a lot less home runs than the last one, but it was still very, very interesting, with Will Smith for the Dodgers having 2 home runs, Mookie Betts having a home run for them, and for the Giants, Buster Posey had a home run, Chris Bryant had a home run, Brandon Crawford had a home run for them, Evan Longoria had a home run, and Ruff had a home run. I don't know his first name, but they all had home runs, but unfortunately for them, they weren't able to win as the Dodgers won the series in Game 5 and move on, beat their division rival, and move on to the ALCS against the Atlanta Braves for another rematch. They did play last year, if I'm not mistaken, in this sort of bubble, even though they were in stadiums, but still they were able to win, and they move on to play the Atlanta Braves in the NLCS. So those are the 4 series. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to be doing one for the ALCS and the NLCS when they happen. when they finish up. The series actually both already started. There's already been 3 games played, 2 for the ALCS and 1 for the NLCS. I'm going to do a reaction when those are over. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. If your team got eliminated, I'm very, very sorry. That sucks. But hopefully next year, especially if you're a Giants or a Rays fan, you're probably going to make it here next year. If you're a Brewers or a Chicago White Sox fan, you're probably going to make it next year too. It's not that difficult. White Sox playing an easy division, and the Brewers also playing in a somewhat easy division for them. And yeah, so if your team moves on, that's great. And let's see how this postseason continues and how it's going to work and who's going to win the World Series. But those are for later videos. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.